On the 15th of November 1985, the Anglo-Irish Agreement was signed. What was it and what did it mean? The Prime Minister of the UK at the time was Margaret Thatcher and the Taoiseach was Gareth Fitzgerald. Before the Anglo-Irish Agreement, the two governments were running in parallel. And this was a way of formalising that connection. It meant that for the first time, that Dublin could have an input into the governance of Northern Ireland. It meant the UK would listen to that input, but ultimately have the final say in terms of what the suggestions were. It dissolved a bit of friction, it'd be fair to say. And this was a time whenever Northern Ireland really was going through a dark patch. It was all a dark patch. But there's a lot of tit-for-tat murders in the mid-80s, a lot of bombings, a lot of bomb scares, a lot of kneecapping, just horrible, horrible times. I remember the hope within the nationalist community that things could change. Wow, this could be something, you know. And also the apprehension and dismay from the unionist community that they didn't want this to take place. There was protests on the street. I remember as a family we were driving through this small town and there was roadblocks and protests. We had to turn around and go back, and then we tried a different road, and then there was blockades there, and so on, so on, and so on. I interviewed Breege Rogers about this, and that's episodes 6 and 7 of the Ireland podcast. So the Anglo-Irish Agreement also formalised the aspirations of the nationalist community within Northern Ireland, and it meant that there was an agreement that Northern Ireland would stay part of the UK until they voted otherwise. So that was quite monumental. The biggest thing that the Anglo-Irish Agreement gave Northern Ireland was the architecture that the Good Friday Agreement was built within. What is the Good Friday Agreement? Well, that was the ultimate peace deal that ended pretty much all of the mayhem. Pretty much. Look underneath the carpet, there's still a few things. One of the best things that came out of the Anglo-Irish Agreement was, I would say, a bit of cinematic history. Ian Paisley, who is head of the DUP at the time, was voicing his thoughts on whether Dublin should have a say in the governance of Northern Ireland. And his answer was...
Never!